Hi, I'm Sandy Schroeck for LBR Inspires, and today we want to look at the option of upgrading a poinsettia into a centerpiece. So this is a technique that we looked at this spring, where we're actually using a liner in the middle of a container and then creating a centerpiece design around that can be a long-lasting upgrade for your poinsettias. So let's take a look at creating this design. To start off with, we're going to use a Dishgarden style container. This is a 10-inch one. You can use 10-inch, 12-inch, anything to give you different options. And then I've used pan melt glue to glue the liner into the middle there. And I have some foam here already pre-soaked. And I'm going to cut that into fourths and just place those pieces of foam right around our liner. And so you can see that our plant is going to be able to drop into the middle of that. Depending on how much florals that you put in, you may want to put in more foam or less foam. And so the first thing I'm going to do is to add some pine. On here, I want to keep this pine on those primary stems as much as possible to limit my insertions. This is white pine is going to be able to create a lot of depth and dimension on this design and just give that little bit of drape, adding that visual perception of value. Next, I'm going to come into Cedar, and the same thing. I'm going to look at where the natural breaks are and keep that on that natural stem, so it's easy to push into the foam. And so a piece like that, what I'm going to do is take that end, come in and push it down in, and you see how it drapes over? It hides that cut off end. If you want a little bit more detailed information on how to cut up greens, we have a video on that in our YouTube playlist. And so just click on the link and you'll be able to go and see me talk a little bit more about how to cut up holiday foliages efficiently. So you can see just by adding those different textures of the holiday greens, how you can really extend the value and upgrade this poinsettia. The next thing, we'll add some accessories. So here I've got some natural pine cones that I'm going to come in, and those can just be wired simply by coming along the back side and twisting that. If you want to do a double, you can do that as well. Just come in there. So that's an efficient way, and you can just tip it in so that you're able to bring that in to add those different textural elements. I'm also going to add some ribbon loops, and here you can see I started with a tail loop and then loop, another loop, and we'll just do the last one here. Similar spacing, just come here, clip it in, and then I'm just using a half wire to tie that off. And this is a wired flannel ribbon. So I'm going to be able to create depth and dimension with this too as well. So we can come in with the loop. Very efficient way to come and add multiple pieces in. And then lastly, I'm just going to add a couple kinds of berries in, and using a variety of berries, a couple different kinds, to just add that depth of color. I have a berry that's a little bit more of a red tone. The other berry that I'm using is more of a darker burgundy berry, and it comes on a paper stem. So here's a little pro tip for you, to use the floral tape that you use for corsages, which is a wax-based tape. And if you have a paper stem, I'm going to tape that paper stem, and then this becomes a waterproof stem so that you're able to stick it into foam. Here you can see the contrast between the darker, larger berry and the lighter berry. Just adds, rather than do two matching ones by doing two different berry stems, it just adds a little bit more visual interest and textural quality. Here's our poinsettia centerpiece upgrades. By using a larger Dishgarden container and putting foam in around a liner that's glued into the middle of that container, you're able to add holiday foliages and accents. You could also add flowers too, to upgrade it as well. Additional textural finishes, such as pine cones and berries. But it's a great way to upgrade your holiday poinsettia and really set yourself above your competition. I'm Sandy Schroeck for LBR Inspires, and I hope that I inspired you to create some fabulous florals this holiday season.